In the heart of the verdant hills of ancient China lay a small village called Mingyun, which translated to destiny. Mingyun was renowned for its serene beauty, with cherry blossoms that bloomed like pink clouds and streams that hummed soft lullabies. Yet, beyond its natural splendor, the village was famous for something unusual. It was the home of the silent chess master, an enigmatic figure whose skills in the game of chess were unmatched. The silent chess master, known only as Li Wei, was a recluse who rarely spoke. His modest hut stood at the edge of the village, surrounded by bamboo groves that whispered secrets in the wind. People came from distant lands to challenge him, and all left humbled. Despite his many victories, Li Wei never gloated or mocked his opponents. He merely smiled, bowed, and gestured toward the chessboard for the next challenger. One summer day, word spread through the village that a wealthy and arrogant nobleman named Zhao Liang was coming to Mingyun. Zhao was infamous for his hubris and his self-proclaimed title of the best chess player in the empire. He had heard tales of the silent chess master and was determined to defeat him, not out of respect but to prove his superiority. Zhao Liang arrived with much fanfare, his entourage carrying silk banners and playing loud drums. He marched to Li Wei's humble home and banged on the door with his jade-studded cane. "Li Wei," Zhao roared. "Zhao Liang challenged you to a game of chess. Prepare to lose your reputation." Li Wei opened the door quietly. He was a man of slender build, with serene eyes that seemed to peer into the depths of a person's soul. Without a word, he gestured toward the small wooden table under the shade of a nearby tree. The chessboard, carved from black and white jade, gleamed in the sunlight. Zhao Liang sat down, exuding confidence. "I warn you, old man, I've defeated the finest players in the empire. You'll be no match for me." Li Wei simply nodded, his face impassive. The game began. Zhao Liang played aggressively, attacking with flair and boldness. His moves were calculated, meant to intimidate. Meanwhile, Li Wei played patiently, his hands moving the pieces with almost meditative calm. As the game progressed, Zhao's confidence began to waver. No matter how cunning his moves, Li Wei countered them with precision. After an hour, Zhao found himself in checkmate. The silent chess master smiled gently and bowed. You were lucky." Zhao stammered, his face flushed with embarrassment. "One game proves nothing. We play again." The second game began, and Zhao Liang decided to change his strategy. This time, he played defensively, carefully guarding his pieces. Yet, as the game unfolded, he realized that Li Wei's strategy was fluid, adapting seamlessly to any challenge. Once again, Zhao found himself outmaneuvered, and within 2 hours, he was defeated. Zhao's temper flared. "This is absurd. You must be cheating. Speak, old man. What trickery do you use?" Li Wei merely shook his head, his calm demeanor unbroken. He gestured toward the board, inviting Zhao to play again. By the third game, a crowd had gathered. Villagers and travelers watched in silence as Zhao Liang grew more agitated with each passing move. His frustration boiled over when he lost yet again. Slamming his fist on the table, Zhao shouted, "You are mocking me with your silence. Say something, you coward." For the first time, Li Wei spoke. His voice was soft, like the rustle of leaves. "You are not losing because of my skill. You are losing because of your noise." The crowd gasped, and Zhao Liang froze, stunned by the unexpected words. "What do you mean?" he demanded. Li Wei continued, "Your mind is loud, filled with pride, anger, and the need to prove yourself. Chess is not a game of domination, it is a reflection of one's inner self. In silence, I hear the game. In noise, you hear only your ego. Zhao Liang sat back, his arrogance deflating like a punctured balloon. He looked around and realized that the crowd was no longer watching with awe, but with pity. For the first time, he felt the weight of his own arrogance. I wish to play one more game, Zhao said, his voice subdued. Li Wei nodded, and they began a game. This time, Zhao played with focus, not to win but to learn. He observed Li Wei's calmness, his ability to see the board as a whole, and his respect for every piece, no matter how small. Though Zhao still lost, he felt a strange sense of peace. After the game, Zhao Liang stood and bowed deeply to Li Wei. "You have taught me more than chess," he said. "You have shown me the folly of my pride. I thank you." Li Wei smiled and placed a hand on Zhao's shoulder, a rare gesture of warmth. "The greatest victories are those won over oneself," he said, before retreating to his home. Zhao Liang left Mingyun, a changed man. He abandoned his boastful ways and became a humble teacher of chess, sharing the lessons he had learned from the silent chess master. Over time, his reputation transformed from that of an arrogant nobleman to a wise mentor. As for Li Wei, he continued to live quietly, teaching through his actions rather than words. His story became a legend, inspiring generations to seek wisdom, not through noise, but through silence and reflection. The story gives a moral lesson that the true mastery lies not in defeating others, but in conquering one's own ego. Silence and humility open the door to wisdom, while arrogance and noise cloud the path.